Hello everyone, welcome to day number 3 of Norway Chess 2022. And one of the highlights of this round is Magnus Carlsen's win over Timur Radjabov. Radjabov losing once again. Magnus here employed his favorite line these days, the Catalan. Okay, check it out. It started, his fascination of the Catalan started in the World Championship against Nepomniachtchi, e6 knight f3, d5 g3. Okay, we have the Catalan, 7 should 2, castles. Radjabov took on c4, queen c2, d5, a4, bishop e7. Now, if Black protects that pawn on b5, there's takes. If takes, knight g5. Okay, we gotta be careful because the knight cannot block the threat of the bishop to the rook. Right, this threat because of this mate on h7. Okay, so that a4 move is actually very tricky. If play h6, the white can take on f7 first, takes before taking on a8, and it's winning for white. So you have to be careful with a4, yeah. And another line would be b4 here, and then the knight can go d2, and it could go c6, and the knight captures on c4, queen takes d4, rook to d1, you can go queen c5, bishop e3, queen can go h5 and knight d2. Yeah. This is another line. If you go knight g4 here attacking h2, I can go f3. Yeah. The two knights, knight takes. White is one pawn down, but he gets that threat also on the c6 with this pin on the rook. And he'll get back that pawn. All right, let's go back. So bishop b7 was played by Radjabov. Takes on b5, a6, takes, knight takes. Queen takes c4, bishop b5, queen c3, c5. Here Magnus went for bishop f4. Wesley last month against Nepomniachtchi in the Super Chess Classic in Romania, Wesley went for bishop e3. Yeah, and that extra pawn actually was crucial in that win. Takes. Knight c3 takes, knight c2, queen d2, c takes d4, c takes d4. Wesley went on to win that game with that sacrifice on f7. This time, Magnus played bishop f4. With knight e4, he went back to c1 instead of e1 from the Wesley's game. But still, the extra pawn. I don't understand why Black is playing this line when you give white that extra pawn, especially playing against positional players. Yeah, it's not so easy. Knight takes, knight e5, because you have, when you give a piece or a pawn, you have no room for error. Right? Takes, bishop e3, and it's easier to play with the one who has the advantage. That's a pawn, by the way. A potential queen in the end. Queen b7, all your opponent needs to do when you have an extra pawn is just to simplify. Knight into d2, completing white's development. Rook a8, queen b1. Again, the queen is better to be behind that pawn, especially in the middle game. So it won't be vulnerable to the threats, especially from the rooks. And don't put your queen on an open file, yeah. Knight into b4, knight into f3, queen b5, rook e1, protecting e2, keeping the extra pawn, rook f8, king f1 to give freedom to the rook. King protects e2, you can move the rook to c1 later on. Yeah? h6, rook c1. Bishop f8, knight into e4. Knight to d3, takes. Knight c3, an important intermediate move, attacking the queen. Queen d7, rook a4. Takes again. When you're up a pawn, you just need to exchange. King g2, king safety. Queen c6, rook a7, g5, counter threat, counter attack on the knight. Knight c5, queen c4, defending g4. No g4, no pin. Queen b6, queen a2. Here, Radjabov went back to c6. If he goes g4 now, then the knight will just go e5. Yeah, no queen c6. Knight is attacking g4. If you go h5, for example, here, rook takes on f7. Okay, so it's not possible. Radjabov went back for queen c6, but Magnus says b4. Knight d7. Magnus being Magnus, find a strong move, b5. Maybe this was unexpected by black, because the queen cannot take the pawn. The knight goes to d4, removing the defender on b5, then the rook can get a free knight. Radjabov went back for queen d6. Magnus played queen a6, and it's game over. You see, Magnus forces the exchange of the queens. And if you take that queen, takes an a6. The knight has to move. You go knight c5, knight goes to e5, attacking f7. If you go f6, for example, exchange the knight. Knight e7, takes on d7, rook a8, a7, rook b7, rook b8, game over. That extra pawn that black gives up in the middle game was decisive in the end. All right, a strong win by the world number one. Magnus being Magnus, beating Radjabov. This is not a good sign for Radjabov, as he's also preparing for the candidates in about less than 2 weeks. Yeah, less than 2 weeks from now. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting our channel, Charles Max Chess and Charles Max Entertainment on Facebook and YouTube. This is Coach Oliver. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.